Inaugural. Webster's dictionary defines the word inaugural as marking a beginning. It's a word that hasn't been a part of the Indianapolis vocabulary for a long, long time. The world's premier racetrack is filled with tradition, hardly an ideal home for new beginnings of any sort. But 1994 is different. Tradition is about to be altered a bit, and not with a whimper, but with a bang. For the first time in some 83 years, a second race will be held. It isn't to be the sounds of Indy cars racing around the 2.5-mile oval, but rather the roar of stock cars rumbling across the famed strip of bricks. It's the inaugural Brickyard 400, marking a new beginning. A new tradition has begun. In 1911, the name Ray Haroon forevermore became engraved in the history books by capturing the very first Indianapolis 500-mile race. Some 7 decades later, a child was born. A child who would grow up in a rural Indiana home, only miles from the world's most famous superspeedway.
Jeff was 6 or 7 years old when this tremendous desire to succeed, this relentless desire to accomplish something showed up.
I was really into it, really wanted to continue doing it, and I think that's how it is about anything. When you're successful at something, you want to continue on doing it, and that keeps your interest.
His success would be the things that dreams are made of, but seldom, if ever, come true. A son who grew up to be a race car driver. His story is the story of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
There will be a NASCAR Winston Cup stock car event here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, August 4th, 5th, 6th, 1994.
That announcement from Speedway President Tony George in April of 1993 single-handedly changed the course of the history of auto racing.
You have to remember that for years and years, and to a large degree today, that one of the goals of most every race driver born in America was to race at Indianapolis. And somebody that elected to go have a stock car career, that wasn't possible. Today it is.
The stage was set. It was time for the show to begin.
It's the biggest race that I think I've ever run, so it'd be the biggest win I've ever had. And if I can only win one, I want it to be this one.
Indy, when you say Indy, you say racing, and the stock cars, I feel like, have arrived when they go to Indy.
Well, I tell you what, here at Indy at the Brickyard 400, everybody's excited, pumped up.
Well, it's a great opportunity for all of us to take advantage of, a major happening in motorsports.
It's just a great thrill for the NASCAR people to be able to come and run at the Brickyard, where there's so much history of so many great drivers that's run here.
Oh, it's exciting just to be here.
Elvis is in the race, really?
Yes.
No
he's
kidding?
going to be there, yes, and he's going to win.
First on the track for Thursday morning practice is Mike Wallace. Others are only inches behind.
There's the signal, and out they'll come, so stand by for Winston Cup action.
Jeff Gordon is the morning's fastest at over 170. Only 1993 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, Jeff Gordon appears to have a shot at the pole. His morning practice speed is still the fastest of the day.
Can he do it? Jeff Gordon. And he's already out of turn 4 down the main straightaway. There's the checkered flag.
Gordon's one-lap effort is spectacular at better than 171, and the Pittsboro, Indiana native will line up third on race day.
I'm happy. I mean, I got a smile on my face. I can't complain, that's for sure.
Making the feat even more special for Gordon is the fact that today is his 23rd birthday, and the hometown crowd acknowledges the accomplishment with their own birthday serenade.
I guess I can't have it all on my birthday. I got a lot of great gifts coming into this day, and I thought maybe we could pull this one off. Maybe we're saving a little bit of that luck for Saturday.
They say tradition is spontaneously created. With that as a guideline, sparkling blue skies greet the drivers race day morning, along with a sellout crowd estimated at better than 300,000 and a worldwide television audience. The inaugural Brickyard 400 is the largest attended first-time sporting event ever, and today's crowd is geared to become a part of history.
A lot of people. It's great for the sport of motorsports. Looking good.
See all the people and all the cars lined up. It's hard to believe that we're here. It's great.
Just being here is so unbelievable, and to be a part of this whole event. But man, to come out of here on top, be the winner, I can't describe it. It would mean more to me than anything in this whole world.
Get knocked out of this thing in 2 or 3 laps, and there it goes. All your hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot better to hang in there and pick your way back up through there as the day goes on.
The key is trying to figure out what the racetrack's going to do. None of us have ever been here. We don't know what it's going to do. This track changed the other day in 3 hours of practice more than any racetrack any of us have ever seen.
This is like the Super Bowl or the first Masters that we could compete in. I know that Rusty's excited. Rick Mears has been there to work with him, and Unser's been telling about the hump going into turn 3.
This place is very magical, and the people here are just tremendous, and there's so many people, and you know, you always have butterflies here.
It's like going to Disney World for the first time.
It'd be the greatest win, you know, you could ever have. It's going to be fantastic for the winner.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
NASCAR's Jimmy Cox signals the drivers, and the Chevrolet Monte Carlo leads Indy's biggest ever starting grid away. It's a field so competitive that the difference between pole sitter Rick Mast and the slowest qualifier A.J. Foyt is, incredibly, just a little over 1 second. The 43 drivers include 4 sets of brothers and will pilot 15 Chevrolets, 23 Fords, and 5 Pontiacs, each circling the Brickyard 160 times, and each hoping to take a place beside Ray Haroon in the history books.
The eyes of the entire sports world are focused at this moment on 300 acres of real estate in the northwest section of Indianapolis, Indiana. A new tradition begins as the green flag is about to come out to signal the beginning of the inaugural Brickyard 400. And the green is out.
Left-hand third of the day. It's Earnhardt taking the lead on the outside. Now Mast moves onto the inside. They're side by side into the short chute of number 2.
They said they couldn't pass in the short chute, but they're attempting to pass out too wide. Now they funnel into single file. Mast has the board out front, and 2 Chevrolets behind him. Earnhardt goes second. Jeff Gordon goes down third. Single file. Now they start to go 2 and 3 and 4 wide down the back stretch toward turn 3. Earnhardt looks to the outside, looks to the inside. Jeff Gordon trying to go around Earnhardt. He won't do it as Earnhardt slams the door. Rick Mast in the lead, going through 3, going to the short chute and heading to 4.
Rick Mast has the lead. Earnhardt right behind him. Jeff Gordon right on his tail. They come through very, very smoothly through turn 4. Single file.
In 78 previous runnings of the Indy 500, 151 different drivers have led a lap. Rick Mast has become the first to lead a lap in the history of competitive stock car racing, and that's the first time he has ever led a first lap of any race.
Lap 3, and Jeff Gordon, the youngest driver in the Brickyard field, becomes the second leader of the race. It's a lead he'll hang on to for the next 22 laps. Danny Sullivan loses a window on lap number 4, bringing out the first caution of the day. Harry Gant runs through the debris and shatters the errant window, while Sullivan will lose valuable time in the pits to repair the missing piece.
The green flag waves once again. We're back under competition. It is Jeff Gordon who is leading, but look at the cars fan out at the back of the pack to shuffle for position.
Gordon still leads. The green flag flies again on lap 15, and Jeff Gordon leads the field into the first turn. Gordon's car is working great. Lap 25, and Jeff Bodine catches Gordon heading into turn 3. And the Brickyard 400 has its third leader of the race.
And look at that, side by side down the back stretch. On the inside, Bodine may have it going to turn 3. Jeff Bodine by a fender cuts in front of Gordon coming to 3. And Jeff Bodine in the lead of the Brickyard 400. But Gordon's not going to give it up easy. He'll close down going through 3 and heading to the short chute.
6 laps later, the first series of regularly scheduled pit stops occur.
The crew remains on the driver's left side of the wall. They come across as he hits the second to first stall, and now they go to work. They will change all 4 tires, and it looks to be a normal stop. We'll see if they make any adjustments.
Jeff Gordon recaptures the lead on lap 48. Gordon will lead the next 23. It's the second time today that the Hoosier hero has led this race. By lap 54, 30 cars are still on the lead lap. Race leader Gordon pits again on lap 69.
That was a scary moment of the day, probably the scariest moment of the day, the closest call if there was any. I was trying to get Jeff a lap down because he had just come into the pits. I got by him, and he was a little bit faster, he had new tires. I tried to wave to him. I put my arm up in the short stretch before we got to turn 4. And he was right on my bumper. Maybe he didn't see it, and I dove down to the bottom to try to give him the outside, and I guess he decided he was going to go by me on the inside, and he must have gone through the grass to get there because I was in the grass, and next thing I know, boom, here he goes flying by on the inside, and we brushed. My left front hit his right rear. I'm just glad that it didn't cause any major damage or get either of us in trouble.
Gordon now leads Jeff Bodine by 6 seconds, but Jeff Purvis is leaking grease, and the resulting caution slows the field for the 3rd time today. Gordon and a host of others pit for the yellow, putting Jeff Bodine on top. As the green flag flies on lap 85, less than 200 miles remain, and Bodine heads off Gordon heading into turn 1. Bodine, remember, boldly predicted victory only 2 days earlier in qualifying, and is threatening to follow through with his pre-race forecast. Again, the green flies, and the battle resumes, this time with Brett Bodine at the point.
Jeff Gordon spent a lot of time trying to set up Jeff Bodine early in the race and couldn't get it down. Now he goes to work on Brett. He will not catch him into the short chute at number 1.
You can believe that Gordon made a mental note on what happened when the Bodine brothers tried to go side by side.
But Gordon recaptures the lead from Bodine on the very same lap.
Well, Jeff Gordon took the lead, coming through 4, went down low, a great pass around Brett Bodine, and they've got single files coming through 4. Again, a very good pass by Jeff Gordon.
50 laps to the finish, 125 miles, and Gordon leads Brett Bodine by just over a second. At the 3/4 mark, Gordon has stretched his lead over the Texaco car to over 4 seconds, while Rusty Wallace, Brett Bodine, and Bill Elliott run 3, 4, and 5. What a race! The accident brings out the 6th and final caution period of the day. It also allows the leaders to make their final pit stops. Gordon is in first, followed by Irvin and Wallace.
Irvin dives in the pits. Right side's going up. Rusty must be overheating because they had a
brush over there, brushing off the front of the car. Jeff Gordon changing the right side, brushing the grill off. Jagman comes around. A chassis adjustment. Put one around the wedge in the car. Rusty's moving. Ernie's moving. Jeff Gordon is moving, but Rusty Wallace is going to beat him out.
The green flies again on lap 132, and Rusty Wallace becomes the 12th different driver to lead today's race.
In his career, Rusty has led over 1,500 laps. He's going to add another one to that career total right now. Jeff Gordon right on his tail. Ernie Irvin, then Brett Bodine and Elliott as they're in that short chute. Battle right now up in front. Now remember, Rusty couldn't run him down on the track, but got mine in the pit area. They work off the second corner, nose to tail, down the back stretch. Ernie Irvin stays in third position. Rusty Wallace driving the car that's named for his car owner. That's Roger Penske. Gordon's down to the inside, and Wallace going into three. He's got the position, and now Irvin tries to tuck down low and can't get Wallace.
As they come to the short chute, it's Jeff Gordon leading, Rusty Wallace running second, Ernie Irvin third. And Rusty trying to get him back, comes down low, and Wallace takes the lead back. Ernie Irvin goes low too, but Gordon holds him off there right together, coming down the main straightaway.
Some great racing, and again they touch as they come down the straightaway. It's Wallace to the inside, and Jeff Gordon to the outside, and Ernie Irvin is a factor too.
Rusty Wallace has got him, and deep inside Ernie Irvin may get him also. Gordon hangs on to second, works the outside of the track, settles into the number 2 position. Side by side into turn 2. Gordon on the high side, Wallace on the low side. Off the corner, here comes Irvin down low. He takes second position. They're going 3 wide down the backstretch. The fans are on their feet as they head to turn 3.
It's one of the most exciting laps ever to be recorded in the history of the Speedway. As Wallace drops back, Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvin resume their battle for the lead.
I have to tell you, I have never seen cheering like this for one individual driver at this point in any race here. When Jeff Gordon gets the lead, everybody standing up, waving and cheering. I tell you what, his fan club membership will increase after this race.
20 laps from the finish, and Irvin catches Gordon.
They stand, they cheer, they head down the main straightaway, and Ernie Irvin's got the lead.
Ernie Irvin is the 13th leader this afternoon, a new Indianapolis Motor Speedway record for any race. "16 laps to go now, and Gordon retakes the lead.
He's got the lead! Jeff Gordon has regained the lead. Ernie Irvin is right on his exhaust pipe. They settle into the move to the number 2 turn.
5 laps later, Irvin is back in front.
Ernie Irvin finally gets it. They have gone almost a complete lap side by side, but don't look now. Brett Bodine in third, Bill Elliott in fourth, and they can see each other at the 6-car train to 4.
Into 4, it's Ernie Irvin, it's Jeff Gordon, it's Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt. They all have a shot.
Gordon's mom and fiancée Brooke can hardly stand it. This race is everything it's supposed to be and more. 10 laps to the checkered flag and a place in the history books. It couldn't be scripted any better than this.
I was controlling his car actually with 4 or 5 laps to go, and he knew that, and he was just waiting for me to make my move and try to control my race car. I didn't know when to make the move. It was all by instincts, and I was just trying to get his car as loose as I could and use his tires up as much as possible and save my tires. Just about any moment I could have gotten underneath him, but I wasn't wanting to. I was wanting to wait. And, I think he kind of knew that, but he was going to do some heavy-duty blocking or something. And we were going to be side by side, rubbing fenders. Would have put on one heck of a race.
But as Jeff Gordon and Ernie Irvin prepare to do battle for what appears to be one of the classic finishes in auto racing history, fate becomes part of the plot.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff Gordon, he's going to go around him. He's taking the inside. They touch. He's got the lead. The lead going into turn 2. Indeed, they did touch. A little high coming into 2. Irvin's a little lower, but now Jeff is about 5 car lengths off, and the fans once again on their feet.
What's happened to Ernie Irvin as they go to 3?
Irvin down to the inside. He's away out of the pack.
Flat tire.
Wrong with the car, and he's slowing down. So Brett Bodine's in second, Bill Elliott in third, Rusty Wallace in fourth, and Dale Earnhardt in fifth.
Irvin slows in the backstretch, the result of a blown tire, and Gordon is now in the driver's seat.
I didn't know exactly what had happened at the time, but I saw him falling back, and I said, hey, guys, we got it.
I knew right away we had a right front go down. I told them before I ever actually got through turn 2 or turn 1 that the right front went down.
And they said, well, we got 4 laps to go now. It's not over until it's over. And I kept watching, and Brett Bodine started coming then.
There's Brett Bodine. It looks like Brett's getting a little bit closer, but does he have time? He is getting closer.
Jeff's car was going away, and I was trying awful hard. My car would get better and better as the fuel load would burn off, but I just ran out of laps.
Too many more laps, he might have got me, but getting to me was one thing, passing me was another thing. But I just tried to drive as smooth and as patient as I could at the end without letting him catch me. I still had a little left to maybe hang it out a little bit, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just stay in the groove, stay out of the wall, come across, take that white, take that checker.
Gordon just 2 turns to go and part of a straightaway, and he'll win the inaugural Brickyard 400, about a 15-car length advantage on Bodine through 3.
You don't suppose he's singing back home again in Indiana, do you? Jeff Gordon off turn 4. He's just got the 1 turn to negotiate, to fight off everybody, the crowd roaring.
And Jeff Gordon is about to write his name in the racing history books. Years from today, when 79 stock car races have been run here, we'll remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400. Jeff is screaming on his radio, back to the pit crew. Oh my God, I did it! I did it!
The feeling was so incredible to come across and take that checker flag. I was on the radio screaming and yelling to my guys, and they were screaming and yelling to me. And
the kid is just unbelievable. He is just a phenomenal, and you can't be a crew chief without a crew, and I owe it all of these guys behind me. They work their tails off night and day, and they put up with me, and I just want to thank God and thank Bill France and Tony George, because they made a lot of people's dreams come true.
This is more than a dream. I don't even think I had been dreaming this, because it's so far out there. Just so many people here, so much going on. This is an event that people are going to look back at 10, 20 years from now. I get to tell my grandchildren about this. It was a great win.
The inaugural Brickyard 400 has left race fans wanting for more. For Jeff Gordon, Victory Lane is something special. He captured his first NASCAR win just 2 months earlier in Charlotte, a race that moved him to tears. This time, Jeff takes an extra lap to compose himself before pulling into Victory Lane.
I'd gotten emotional before and just totally let it all out. This time, I held my emotions in and I just wanted to enjoy. I didn't want to hyperventilate again in Victory Lane like I did before. I wanted to just enjoy it, be happy, and be smiling. And I did that and took an extra lap because of it.
For the little boy who grew up racing go-karts from the time he was barely old enough to walk, dreams of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway were just that, dreams. But on this day, the biggest winner share in NASCAR history belongs to Jeff Gordon. Over $600,000, including $200,000 and the commemorative silver brick from PPG Industries.
I can't put it in perspective. That's just it. It's just unbelievable.
When Ray Haroon won the first Indianapolis 500 in 1911, his name forevermore became stamped in the annals of Speedway history. On August the 6th, 1994, Indianapolis gained another first-time champion, Jeff Gordon. A name that will be remembered decades from now. A name that will go down in the history books as the winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.